Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B-Man, and I am live and on the move. Shout out to my brother, Junior the Truth. What's good, everybody? What is good with you this morning? Grand rising to everybody that'll be catching me out there this morning live, and those who will tune in for the replay and playback. Want to come to you this morning with another quick moment of boxing talk and have an opportunity to express some opinion and view on the talk, the gossips, the conversations coming out of this past weekend's heavyweight matchup that took place for the WBO heavyweight title eliminator. Number one contender for the WBO, Joseph Parker, taking on Fabio Wardley. Big truck, as we call him, huh? Yeah! So, wanted to talk about that a little bit. Oh, I see the brothers are filing in early. My man, Junior the Truth, out there, he says, I bet I'm on time today, Jack. Salute to you, Junior. Grand rising to you, brother. Mr. Shelton is out there saying, the boogeyman is up early because he had the pee-pee. What's good with you, Mr. Shelton? Yeah. Junior says, let's go. You know, Stormy B-Man is at it. I don't think I'll release a premiere today. I have one ready to go. I just got to finalize it and upload it. If I don't get a chance to do it, before starting work, then it'll just go up for tomorrow. But this live can serve as a supplant of content, because Stormy B-Man is always trying to bring you the most quality of content. Yeah. So I've been combing the airwaves of YouTube and listening to various boxing circuits and the conversations coming out of this fight that took place between Parker and Wardley. I'm finding it astonishing that people are taking the positions that they're taking off of this. All of a sudden, the consensus is switching now that Joseph Parker was robbed. Really? I mean, you guys, for those who watched the fight, you can possibly say that referee, I forget his name, forgive me, I don't have it in front of me, but the referee of the bout had maybe jumped in a little early for the stoppage. But you cannot deny that Parker was taking a thrashing by Fabio. So what? Fabio had unleashed a volley of punches that could have tapped his energy out or whatever. When you get a guy in the jeopardy that Parker found himself in, you're supposed to take your opportunity at that moment. And since it was late in the fight, toward, the 11th round, that the fight ended up being stopped, don't forget what took place in the 10th round under 30 seconds to go. Parker was taking a thrashing then. And he does not have the type of equalizer, let's use that term that they like to throw out there, which means to be able to land a home run punch that can knock the other guy out. Parker was never noted as a knockout punching heavyweight. Never. He had been dropped by Dillian White. He had been dropped by Derek Chisora. He'd been knocked out by Joe Joyce. And at that time, y'all was referring to him as Slow Joyce. And he couldn't get out the way of Big Joe, the Juggernaut's punches. And he got KO'd in a fight that at that time, he was at a career high of 255 plus. And people were saying, hey, I think that's too much for, Joseph Parker. But I sat back eating popcorn, because I'm watching this foolishness and I see it and I'm like, do everybody else see what I'm seeing? Nope. So that's why I have to come on and do a live like right now. Everybody don't see what I see. But I try to open up the blinds. I try to let the sun peek in and let you guys see that these people, these scribes, these guys who are able to get the interviews with the fighters and they kiss their rear hiney, and just rub and put baby oil on it and everything. What are you doing? The man lost, He's good. He's 33 years old, and he don't need you to take him by the hand. I think that you were robbed. You were really in the fight, and the fight was going your way, and you was leading on the scorecards, and blah, 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 blah. Cry me a river. It ain't over until it's over, And he fought a stupid fight. I'll say it because, first of all, the stupidity goes back to Andy Lee. I told you guys, I don't think much of him as a trainer. I don't care that he has Kronk roots, He doesn't reflect Kronk intelligence. See, RIP to Manuel Stewart, one of the best trainers to ever do it, But these are not his proteges. Guys like him and Sweet and Low Stewart. What the hell? They have more controversy attached to them than success and accomplishment attached to them. And these guys get smooched all up on their rear end. There is no way in the world Andy Lee should be trying to encourage Joseph Parker to put more mass on that frame. He's a naturally big bone guy, but that doesn't mean he's a big guy. Those people from where he comes from have big bones. Their bone density is strong, and you can see it. You see it sometimes in their shoulders. You see it in their wrists and forearms. You see it in their calves and thighs. You guys remember David Tua? The minute that David Tua went from fighting at 220, 225 to 240 plus and over 250, his career totally changed around. Regardless that he had one of the best left hooks in the sport of boxing's history, but if you're not in shape, it's not going to make a difference. Conditioning is key. Even in the heavyweight division, if you are not well conditioned, you can be just a punching bag. And I believe that going back, looking at that fight, I watched it again, Joseph Parker looked exactly like a punching bag in there when Fabio decided to unleash on him. If Joseph Parker was winning that fight the way that they felt that he was winning, because it ain't over till it's over, the scorecards had one reflection, the action in the ring and how it was going along dictated something different. Why didn't he open up against Fabio, big truck, like that? Why didn't he open up against him? You see? Because he was supposed to go in and get after Fabio. Oh, I'll tell you why he didn't do that. Because when he tried to do it early in the fight, what was that, the second round, if not the third round? Oh, he ran into a big shot by Fabio that had him teetering and tottering again, where he had to spit his mouthpiece out and everything and look for a lull in the action early in the fight because he was taking damage. The more experienced heavyweight, the guy who was 3 years older, the guy who was a former world titleist, And I keep telling you, just because they snatched one of those titles, don't make them champion. Andy Ruiz Jr., whom he got a decision in his home country against, went on to defeat AJ and became the unified heavyweight champion of the world. A much loftier and higher accomplishment than Joe. You see, that's eating at him at the back of the mind. He's like, man, if Andy Ruiz could be unified, I should have been unified, But no, he didn't achieve what Andy achieved. And Andy arguably defeated him. Had that been on neutral ground, Andy probably would have got the decision. Especially when you go back and you review performances against the likes of Dillian White and Derek Chisora and Joe Joyce. You see, you got to know what you're looking at. And everybody doesn't know, which is why these guys like this guy, Ariel, who I was watching, which really inspired this video response, sucking up to Joe, blowing smoke, telling him you were robbed. He was not robbed. He got touched up, pieced up. He didn't even have the wherewithal to tie the guy up, hold him, kill a clock, whatever. Not that it was near the end of the round, because it was early in the round. But where was his experience? Where was his mental faculties? To be able to survive and to be able to stave off the attack and the assault of the opponent, as the opponent had done with him when he had some advantages. And he had clocked Truck a couple of times and had Truck looking like, oh, let me tie this dude up, you know? There was even a point in the fight where Truck had said, hey, come on, let's get down. Let's boogie, baby. Did Joe move in that instance? Hell no. He just stood back and looked at him. I wonder why. You see, a lot of times, people don't want to accept what's really evident. They don't want to say, okay, this man, he's not winning, but he is not giving up. And I had the other guy picked, but the other guy is really having his way with him. All of these folks are trying to justify that they were picking against Truck. And now that Truck prevailed and got a stoppage at that, they're trying to justify, trying to find a reason to speak in favor of Joseph Parker. But Parker lost, you guys. He lost the fight. And guess what? Losing fights is a part of having boxing careers for some. But to be able to come back, to be able to persevere, to be able to make adjustments, to be able to overcome is what lies at the foot of things at the end of the day. And that is no adjustment putting on excess weight that's going to make you slower. I don't care how quick your hands are. I don't care how mobile you think that your feet may serve you to be. The extra weight is a problem. And since they want to call it muscle, which I don't see that, but they want to term that, when they want to call it muscle, the old time trainers will tell you muscle weighs more than fat and it absorbs more oxygen and blood. So you can get hit in the muscles and get blood clots. You can get hit in the muscles and get cramps. You can be fatigued from battling with heavy musculature, and you will find yourself exasperated and begging for air, looking to fill your lungs. Does Andy Lee know that? I'm just asking for a friend who wants to learn a little bit more about boxing. Yeah. Let's see, we got some more people that have fallen into the building. We got Hen Dog out there. What's going on with you, Hen Dog? Salute to you this morning. Clarence McLean is in the building saying, yo, salute my Stormy B man, aka Sensei. What's good with you, brother? Clarence McLean. Mr. Shelton's reminding everybody to hit that like button. Ratchet since 91 is in the building. What's going on with you, brother? Grand rising to you. Jose Diaz in the building this morning, saying good morning. What's good with you? Dale Dot Rivers out there saying salute, Stormy. Good morning. Right back at you. Appreciate you guys coming in to the building. Hit that like button, please. Share the video. Man, I'm telling you, to listen to these guys, and they had a whole panel on Talk Sport Boxing. They all were on there talking, this was the wrong fight for Joseph Parker. I mean, he had the opportunity for Usyk, a challenge, and he took this fight, and he really threw everything away. What? It's funny how the UK reporters and guys who talk the sport and everything, they always are trying to protect the fighters, man, and give excuses for when they fall short or don't achieve particular goals. Dude, it's a part of the sport that somebody has to win and lose, huh? But you guys are so protective. That's why AJ is a mental basket case too, because you guys, AJ is great, he's the greatest UK heavyweight of modern time and this and that or whatever. Well, you should want AJ to fight the best fighters. But they're like, I don't think he's ready for Wilder. Not Wilder. Stay away from Wilder. Trying to control and also dictate at the same time. Again, that's why when they call it talking out of your rear end, you know why? Because what's coming out the mouth is so foul and stench, that it sounds like it's coming out the other end where foul and stench reside, Yeah. But they do this often, man. And now it's Joseph Parker's turn. They were not hailing Joseph Parker before the fight. They were not. Who was talking about, I think that Joseph Parker is the next heavyweight champion of the world? No, they were talking about Moses Atuma. Am I right? Who happens to be trained by the same man that Truck Wardley is trained by. Ben Davis, same gym. So, where was Joseph Parker before the fight in y'all minds? Y'all just went with Joseph Parker because you were dismissive of Truck, but at the same time, you never really thought much of Joe Parker. Don't play these freaking mind games with the people who are innocent casuals of the sport. Tell the truth and shame these devils, man. It's ridiculous to hear them talk as if Joseph Parker, he was on the Mount Rushmore of heavyweights and he got upset by this guy. He was robbed. Man, if you don't knock it off in my Bill Haney voice, man. He was a top 10 heavyweight, Joe Parker. I had said going into this fight, they were talking about he deserves his shot. He deserves his shot. How? What did he really do to deserve the shot? He was battered by Zhilei Zhang, who ended up getting tortured by Ajit Kabiel. He defeated a Wilder who had a lot of things going on with himself in his career and had bad people around him. But you all didn't say those things for Wilder. You all didn't say, Wilder wasn't at his best, so Joe got lucky with this one. Y'all was celebrating his win over Wilder. They were like, yeah, he beat Wilder. He really beat Wilder. So yeah, he's moving up. AJ got his ass whooped well over a year ago against Daniel Dubois, which y'all gave Dubois no shot against AJ. And AJ was flopping around that canvas, like a fish off a hook that been reeled in onto the deck of your boat. And they were talking about AJ going into that fight, and Dubois seized the moment. And AJ ain't fought since. All of a sudden he had an injury, and he had to nurse the injury and come back from that or whatever. We've never, in the almost 30 fights of AJ career, haven't heard him talking about an injury. And that dude be in the gym lifting weights and doing all these calisthenics. He's like the Evander Holyfield of the modern 2000s with his gym work. All of that stuff that build all them muscles up and everything, but not the right muscle, which is inside his cranium. So if you ask me, the loss to Dubois shattered the dude's confidence, which was already on shaky ground. Shattered like glass. And you guys don't hold these people accountable. If you listen to their content and you hear them speaking foolish, leave comments and let them know, man, why are you pampering this man? This 33-year-old man who chose to come into the fight against Truck extra weight, 20 pounds heavier. 20 pounds, not 10 or 5, 20. When he got off that scale, people should have been running to the damn betting booths. No accountability. And I continue to say it in the sport of boxing. We cannot get these people to get their mess together, bro. It's unfortunate. And to hear these men on these panels talking about him like, you know, he was really done wrong. If anyone was done wrong, Deontay Wilder was done wrong, people. Deontay Wilder was done wrong, because even despite what was up against, that man fought through and persevered. They give him no credit for having a warrior's heart. They give him no credit for being a battle-tested man or whatever, and that will lay it on the line, fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. They didn't want to give that to him, but they want to celebrate a drug cheat and a boxing sport cheat in the Gypsy Fiend. Huh? And they now revere him like a hero. The guy was a cheat, and he was a cheat for many years before he even fought Deontay Wilder. And the UK never really embraced him either, because he's a so-called gypsy, which is over there, I guess, can be referred to as a Caucasian N-word, huh? Yeah. Allegedly. The man says he's retired now. Y'all trying to put AJ in the ring with him. Why? Why now? Why? The fight to see is really AJ versus Fury. That's the fight that everybody will pay. They could fill up the O2. They could fill up Wembley. They could do this. They could do that. It's like, dude, why weren't y'all clamoring for that when AJ had those titles? Huh? You didn't want him to fight Wilder, so why not fight Fury? Foolishness. These guys hop on and off of other fighters' jock like they're at a pony riding contest or something. What is this? Straight foolishness, bro. We got Copper Aborigines in the building. Grand rising to you, brother. Good to see you out there this morning. Jose Diaz says, Gabriel is doing way I'm sorry, I'm driving. Ray Wells, everybody's scared. Listen, Cabiel has earned his merit just by fighting people. He's not real loud and speaking. He does his talking in the ring. He can speak decent English, so you know they don't hardly want to put a mic in front of his face because he may end up calling out a name of one of their most protected fighters. Huh? Those guys on the Talk Sports panel, I'm listening to them talk, and they brought up the fact Daniel Dubois wants to come back. He says he'll fight Cabiel. He's like, I'm ready. And they're talking about, Daniel is unrealistic. You know, after the drubbing that he took from Usyk, he should be looking to take a soft touch. What? You see, these guys protecting people. Daniel Dubois is like, hey, Adrian Cabiel, I'm ready. Let's get it. And they're saying no. They're saying no. And when they talk like that, understand that promoters listen to that, right? So it becomes an influenced moment. Copper says, oh, we talking about the fight with Parker getting beaten this past weekend. You're damn right, Copper. He got beaten. Hendog says, you're not lying. Lone Star Steph in the building. He says, God be with you. God be with you as well, too. Blessings to you this morning. Grand Rising. Yeah, man, they play these protective games, bro. These dudes be wanting to break out the vibranium shields to shield these fighters from competition. If Daniel Dubois wants to go in there against Adrian Cabiel, guess what? That's a great way to get his respect back for what he performed in the non-performance that he had against Usyk, where them folks probably told him, you know you're not winning this fight, right? So he laid down like he was posing for Playgirl magazine on the canvas for a 10 count. And as soon as the ref reached 10, he got up and walked back to his corner and said, did I do okay? Man, if you don't get the hell up out of here with that foolishness. Hendog says they ridicule Wilder's accomplishments. Yes, Ratchet Since 91 says, all because he has the complexion for the protection. Love to Deontay Wilder. Yeah, man. Copper says they'll never respect Wilder because he stood for principles. That's right. Jose Diaz says Fury is no good unless he's on something. You better believe it, bro. You better believe it. Jonathan Simon in the building saying good morning. Salute to you as well, bro. I mean, I've been watching the foolishness, you guys, and I sit back and I listen. Listen to what they're saying. Daniel Dubois should stay away from Adrian Cabiel, but this is heavyweight boxing. Let me ask you guys, okay, if Daniel Dubois was gonna fight his next fight and it was Adrian Cabiel, put a 1 in the chat if you like that. Please, put a 2 in the chat if you don't. If Daniel Dubois was coming back against Adrian Cabiel for his next fight, look at those ones. You see what I'm saying? These guys are saying, oh no, he should stay away from Cabiel. Like I said, that's like the fastest way for him to gain some respect back. Arturo Gatti, who was not a great boxer or whatever, or great fighter by any means, would be out there going to war with people, and he was popular because of that, because he was a war type fighter. He would get in there. There's nothing wrong with that because he's delivering. Now, is that good for your health? Not all the time. But you would pay to see the guy fight because you know that hell be damned, he's gonna lay it on the line. I believe Daniel Dubois will fight anybody out there. He's that kind of gullible that he'll go in there. But I do believe hindsight being 2020, that situation with Usyk looked awfully shady to me. And that's okay, because Usyk won't be around very long. He said he's going to fight till he's 41 years of age, and that'll be coming up pretty soon, because he's 38 right now. And he will not hold on to all of those titles for his entire duration that he remains fighting, because there are fighters that he will definitely stay away from. I won't use that other word that begins with D and ends with a K. Yeah, he'll avoid. He'll decide to go to greener pastures elsewhere, because there's a few of them out there that could line him up. He ain't who they say he is either. You just got to know what you're looking at. Do I not say that all the time? And if they think that Joe Parker was going to beat Usyk, they got another thing coming. Joe Parker couldn't even get past Dillian White, man. He fought life and death with L-Boy, Chisora. Yeah, Copper, you say it, bro. Jonathan Simon says, his two biggest fights was De La Hoya and Mayweather, but he fought them knowing he couldn't beat them. Yeah. At least he got in the ring with them. You see, that's how you know guys were cut from a different cloth in the former era. They would get in there, they would get compensated, and they would get the fanfare. Evander Holyfield became beloved after his fight with Riddick Bowe, the first go round. When he defeated Riddick Bowe, when Riddick Bowe defeated him, and people started calling him a warrior. They weren't calling him warrior before that, even though he had shown warrior-like tendency. But after the Bowe fight, people were saying, man, that real deal, bro, he is the real deal. But he has shown that for years, even at cruiserweight. So as we look at things, Parker losing to Truck just happens to be more of the case of them putting all of the praise and heap upon the guy that people find that is least noted or little renowned. But that doesn't mean that man wasn't capable of delivering. And Junior will tell you, he's out there. I've had conversations with Junior. You always leave space for someone else to have success. It's not 100% for anyone. But I'll tell you this, when you realize that what is 100% is you're uncertain. Being uncertain. And I'll tell you, I looked at Wardley going into this fight. I looked at Parker going into this fight. And the thing that I noticed is that one guy was skating on thin ice. The other guy was the best show on ice. The Chippendales on ice. That's what he was. And they didn't want to look at that. They didn't want to see that. They had their eyes closed and dark shades on. When it came down to that. And now you got these guys out there trying to tell anybody, and tell Joe, you were robbed. Did you see his face after the fight? Joseph Parker, did you see that mug? Did you see Wardley's face after the fight? Truck had lumps and bumps too. But that was from being in a tussle, a scuffle, huh? That's what that was. And when you put in that type of effort and you lay it on the line, that's what happens. Listen, man. Don't let these people over sensationalize and influence you to thinking like you don't have a brain in your head to think on your own. Joseph Parker lost that fight against Daniel Dubois because he fought the wrong type of fight. He fought 20 pounds overweight. He hadn't been in a competitive match where he prevailed. The Zhilei Zhang thing was really telling. He should have ran it back with Zhang, because if he defeats Zhang a second time, that gives him class over Zhang. But he ran away from the rematch. They had a rematch clause, and he ran away from that. That means he was just happy to get that decision and get away. I think it was a split decision because Zhang had dropped him twice. You see, the best fighters, they will go in there and do it a second time because they want to prove themselves. When Truck fought Big Fraze, that first fight was a fight of the year type deal in the heavyweight division back in 2024. And when they fought the rematch, because that was a split draw, I think it was, or a majority draw. One way or the other, it was a split or majority draw. So they ran it back. And when he come out there in the second fight against Big Fraze, 1 round annihilation. 1 round. In other words, this is round 13 and I'm ending it. Rearranged the guy's face and everything. And the guy will tell anybody who will listen, yeah, I know from firsthand about Truck. You know, I give him all the chances in the world. Yeah, you should. Huh? It's your constituents who don't pay attention when the writing is on the wall. These guys are something else, man. 20 pounds overweight. If you don't get your butt up out of here with that foolishness. Now, I'm telling you, this is what's coming next. Since you want to call me the sensei, listen to what I'm getting ready to tell you right now, and then I gotta go. They're going to start to talk about Usyk doesn't really have to face Wardley. Usyk can face whoever he wants. He's the undisputed champion. Mark my word. They are going to talk like that because not only is that the built-in protection for Usyk, who is supposed to take on the winner of Parker versus Truck. Truck has earned it in exciting fashion. But they're going to switch it up. And by switching it up, the consensus is going to be, well, he still needs to face some more opposition or whatever. Oh, yeah. And they've got that saved in storage for Cabiel as well. But you can't keep the good men down. You can't. Just know that what I'm saying is what's going to be the consensus going forward, huh? Stephen L., what's good with you? I see you out there. By Yah's will, good morning. Salute to you. Joe the Beast in the building. Salute. Rod Neal, good morning to you. Grand Rising, brother. Copper says, yep, that's going to be the language spoken. The theater is set. You know, I know it, right? But I'm saying it first because ain't nobody else said it yet. I'm saying it first. Jonathan Simon says, you notice too, his OG, his body did look puffy. Me and you talked about this professionalism and proper condition and be the standard. Listen, hey, haven't we talked about that? We talked about it, right? And I say it all the time. But hey, this is what you get. But guys, I gotta go. It's time for me to head on into the cotton fields. Yeah, they got stormy out there this morning, man. I'm sorry. But yeah, I gotta do it. But I thank everybody that tuned in with me this morning. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Please share the video if you came in without hitting the like button. For shame, huh? And make sure that you share it and tell everybody that, you know, I'm dropping these gems for you out here on the move and live. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Junior the Truth. But we'll catch you guys later for the Tuesday tussle. Peace to everybody. Have a blessed day. I'll catch with you guys later.